updated in a while, but there's a reason for it. It's not a good one. The main reason, in brief, that I haven't updated in a while is because I don't have anything to tell you. And the reason for that is because my wrists have been causing me major problems. They started getting sore 2 weeks ago. No, last Sunday, so about a week ago now. And it got to be so bad that I actually went out and bought wrist braces for each of them, and I sleep in them. And I thought I was kind of getting carpal tunnel, but I don't think the symptoms are correct. It feels like they're just achy and swollen. They hurt. I feel inflamed. So I actually have to type for my job as well. So it got to the point where I couldn't even finish an email without my wrists getting like really upset. And so I was already dealing with the fact that I was having trouble writing, and the wrists just were the icing on the cake that told me I needed a break. So I took a break, and then as of last night, it was actually Stella's birthday. So I sucked it up and wrote something because it's her birthday. And I was like, well, I need to write. I should write her something. And so I wrote like a little original one shot. It was like 2,000 words, and I posted it on the archive, because Archive of Our Own, where I post my fan fiction, has a fandom for original work, so you can post your original works there. I wrote like 2,000 words, and by the end of it, my wrists were killing me, and I'm like, I have to take like another week off of using them, obviously not of work. So yeah, so that's that update. I'm drinking beer today. It's Founders Dirty Bastard. Founders is one of my favorites. I used to live near it, so I used to go there all the time. The good news is I think that the writing issues are fixed. There's lots of bad news in here somewhere too, and I'll get to that. It has been quite a while. I suffered a whole bunch of blows to the writing bug. So for starters, as I said, I was writing a story and lost the love for it fairly quickly. I think I've written 12,000 total words for it, and then I had that day where I was like coffee and then beer, and then I passed out, and then I went to eat at Olive Garden, and I basically set that one aside. And I realized today why I don't like it. So there's hope for that one. The reason I don't like it is because it's too young adult. It's not dark enough. It doesn't hurt enough. The characters aren't hurting enough. I've had all my friends tell me that my writing isn't my best when I'm writing the dark stuff, and it's true, because it's my favorite. So I do better when I really can put the characters through some shit, and I don't, I can't do that with young adult. It feels too childish for me, and then that's not to say that young adult is bad. I read young adult as well. I can't write it. It feels wrong coming from me. So I just can't write it. So as I was writing it, I was losing interest in it because it didn't have the elements of the story that I enjoy. So although the story is sound and the premise is good and the characters are good, what it is missing is the thing that makes me love it, and the thing that makes me love it is making them hurt. So I know it's evil. I'm gonna fix that. I'm on the road tomorrow, and as you may remember, anytime I'm on the road, it does wonders for my inspiration. So I should be able to fix that. The problem is, even if I do fix it, I can't write because my wrists hurt. So there's that. The next setback is with my novel. So I had my friend Stella read my novel, and I hope she doesn't mind me telling you this. Oh well, our blog, right? I had her read it, and I've been very proud of it, as you know, and I knew that she would tell me honestly, because she's been through the whole publishing, trying to get published process before. And as you know, I wrote it on the wings of a fan fiction that I was writing, and Stella sees it. This is bad news. Very, very bad news. So she sent me this really long message, like, please don't hate me, but this is not okay. And so she pointed out all of these things that need to be fixed. And at first I took it quite well. I was like, yep, you know, I was kind of worried about that, but as my friends read it, none of them really pointed that out, and I'd even ask, like, do you think it's too similar? Because I was paranoid. I wrote it, obviously. And they're like, no, I think that you lost it plenty well enough. I don't think anybody would be able to tell. And I was like, all right, well, cool. So on it went to the next step. You know, this has been through like 6 betas, and as I'm the one that wrote it, I'm always going to be paranoid about it, so I didn't think anything of it. 6 betas said it was fine, knowing the story, knowing the fan fiction, and I assumed it was good. Stella says it's not. So, fairly major plot points need to be fixed if I'm ever going to send this to publishing. So at first I took it very well, and I was like, you know, I kind of thought so, and I can see it. And she was like, oh, thank God. Because she was worried that, like, I was going to hate her. But she had to say it because she was looking out for me. And I was like, no, 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 you're good. I already had these worries. By the end of it, I was a sobbing mess. Because 4 months now I've already spent on this novel. And I was quite proud of it. The story is very good. But major plot points need to be fixed. So I've been thinking about it since then, and this is about a week ago now. I think I can fix it. I think that I can fix it in such a way that it doesn't look similar at all. But it's going to take some major work. Like, almost like rewrite level work. I'm still stewing it around in my brain. I'm not ready to touch it yet. The plan always was that I was going to wait for all my queries to come back, and I think we're just about to that point where I can assume that the rest of them that haven't come back are just going to be rejections by silence. And then I'm waiting for Frankie to finish Malevolence. And then her and I were going to go through this, like, deeply to make sure that this is exactly what we want before moving on to publishing it ourselves. Stella's in on it too, so she promised that she would help me. She thinks that it can be saved. She said I wouldn't have told you this if I thought that it could not be saved. So, we're going to do it. Needless to say, this is a major setback, and when I was already suffering with the whole writing thing and the wrists, wasn't really what I wanted to hear. So, but I'm getting better. After I wrote that 2,000 word one shot, and then later told Stella that the character in it was actually part of the Achillea verse, she was quite surprised, and I think there's some good story there, and I think it will be better. In fact, I think that some of the plot points I'm thinking about changing will actually make it a better story, and I think I can do it in 2 books instead of 3, which I wanted to do in the first place. And I think that it'll be better. So, there's that. What else was I gonna say? Like I said, the wrists are hurting, but the words are better, so I'm ready to write. Unfortunately, like I said, the wrists won't let me. And after talking to Frankie and Stella about my wrists and whining about it long enough, they have convinced me to go to urgent care on Monday if it's still not any better, to have them looked at. They're like, you don't want to mess around with wrists. So this is my video on writer problems. These are very real problems. This isn't me whining about not being able to write anymore. This is actually me hurting and my novel being a total failure. So no big deal. No, I mean it. I'm okay. There's other things going on too that I can't really talk about. I can talk about it here on the blog, I think. So if you remember me whining about my job, I can tell you now for certainty that I am now a full-time employee where I work. I've been promoted to a position that is beautiful, and it will come with a pay raise. So now I'm working full-time and making more money, which is awesome. Which means now I can buy a house, which means that after I buy a house, I can start thinking about having the family that I was planning on having, and life is pretty good. So although writing isn't going as wonderfully as it should, it will. Now that I'm finally to the end of dreaming about traditional publishing and thinking about doing it myself, I'm at peace with that as well. So I like the idea of it now because I got to thinking about the writer's block and all like the not being able to make a story work for my life, and then I was like, you know, I kind of like the idea of not having a deadline. Before I was like deadlines, schmedlines, whatever. I'm fine. I can write really fast. But the thing is that sometimes things like this happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. I can't just fix the words. I can't just fix the wrists. But if I had a deadline looming, I'd be freaking out, and that pressure just ruins creativity anyway. So I like the idea of just being able to write a story when I want to, fixing it when I want to, publishing it myself, and never having to worry about it. So I'm leaning that way now. So this basically now I'm very zen. That's where I'm at right now. The wrists will heal in time. I can't write until they do, and my friends have basically threatened me with bodily harm if I try to write until my wrists are fixed. And Stella actually promised that she wouldn't finish the story that she's writing, that I am very much enjoying, unless I get my wrists looked at. So there's that. And I gotta fix the story. I'm going on the drive tomorrow, and I will think of more story. But I'm ready to write again. So my head's in a good place. My life is in a good place. My wrists are not. And beer. That said, I think I mentioned Elegy for a Dead World the other day. Elegy's a fun game. I'm actually going to review it in another video. That way, if you don't care about it at all, you can just skip that. So, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.